The headlines: Ethiopia marks Nations, Nationalities and Peoples Day. Premier attends inaugural ceremonies of various development projects in Jimma Zone. Hello and welcome. This is OBN Amanu Kali with the news. And we wish a happy Ethiopian Nations, Nationalities and Peoples Day that is celebrated for the 13th time for all Ethiopians. President of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Sahle-Work Zewde, called on all Ethiopians to strengthen their unity and work towards building great and prosperous Ethiopia. The president has attended the 13th edition of Ethiopian Nations, Nationalities and Peoples Day market in Finfinne City. Let us trace out the story.
The 13th Ethiopian Nations, Nationalities and Peoples Day has colorfully been marked in Finfinne City at the capital's stadium. Various nations, nationalities and people drawn from across the country, senior government officials, including President of the country, have attended the event. Ethiopia's first female president, Sahle-Work Zewde, in her remark on the celebration, noted that peace and harmony is an optionless matter for Ethiopians to build a great country.
To realize our dream of building a great country, we have no choice other than ensuring peace and living together in harmony.
The president urged all Ethiopians to make trusting one another, supporting each other, and love their day-to-day activity, abstaining themselves from attitudes and actions that pave the way for differences. What she said will help Ethiopia to get rid of poverty and take the position it deserves in the 21st century. Sahle-Work stressed the importance of unity and togetherness so as to quicken socio-economic development and preserve peace of the country.
In every activity we undergo, starting from keeping peace to foster our economic and social development, we should be together, unless otherwise we could not do anything. We should know this well.
The president called for strengthening the culture of tolerance, stressing that it is vital to live together.
Tolerance is a key issue for living together. It has a great value for our country. All of us should do our level best to lastly strengthen tolerance.
President Sahle-Work Zewde has called upon all Ethiopians to contribute their fair share to build a developed and prosperous Ethiopia, where all citizens live together equally.
In related news, Speaker of the House of Federation, Keria Ibrahim, while addressing celebrants of the 13th edition of Nations, Nationalities and Peoples Day of Ethiopia, has urged all Ethiopians to safeguard their unity and collaborate on building a country that equally treats all of its citizens. So Richard Abanecha has the story.
On the celebration of 13th Ethiopian Nations, Nationalities and the Peoples Day that was colorfully marked at Finfinne City, Speaker of House of Federation, Keria Ibrahim, has delivered keynote addressing the celebrants and the whole Ethiopians. In her speech, Keria underscored that this day is the day when Ethiopian nations, nationalities and the people's question of peace, development and democracy started getting answers by Ethiopian constitution.
On the Nations, Nationalities and Peoples Day celebration, we have registered a number of successes. Among these successes, one is many nations, nationalities and peoples of our country who live together without more understanding of each other for many years have got the opportunity to create relationship and strengthen their unity.
Keria expressed that the difference between cultures of Ethiopian nations, nationalities and the people have contributed a lot for today's national unity developed in every Ethiopians and the collective self-esteem of Ethiopians.
Ethiopianism is a collection of different values which develop through a long-term and historical asset, enshrined by the mixture of many identities. In general, Ethiopianism is the psychological unity.
She underlined that the basis of national psychological unity are the nations, nationalities, and the peoples of Ethiopia.
The base and source of this national psychological unity are the Ethiopian nations, nationalities, and peoples. Their own self-esteem for their own language, culture, and history have great contribution. We Ethiopian, even if we have different language, culture, and we are from different nations. We have one country, inherited from our forefathers, to live together in peace and harmony.
Kerry argued that though Ethiopian constitution helped to bring different changes at the country level, still there is a gap in the activity to bring and strengthen national identity with national unity.
In the work to ensure our constitutional right, we have registered a lot of successes individually and collectively, but there is some gap in the implementation of the constitutional rights.
She stated that due to the previous weakness on building national identity and unity, Ethiopian nations, nationalities, and people sometimes lack confidence in their own identity. Due to this, sometimes conflict was occurring between nations or ethnicities. Keria called upon all nations, nationalities, and the peoples of Ethiopia to safeguard their democratic unity, wisely use their good opportunity in their diversity, and build great, democratic, and prosperous Ethiopia where all citizens live in peace and pride.
Still, we do have related news. Deputy Mayor of Finfinne City, Engineer Sakala Uma, said Ethiopians should maintain their long-lived harmonious relations and build the new Ethiopia on unshakable base. The mayor has thanked all nations and nationalities, especially Finfinne City residents, for playing a great role in colorfully and peacefully celebrating this year's Nations, Nationalities and Peoples Day of Ethiopia for the 16th edition. Olma Baina has looked at the story.
The 13th Ethiopian Nations, Nationalities and Peoples Day was celebrated in Finfinne City, capital of the country. Representatives of nations, nationalities and peoples of the country drawn from all corners of the country have attended the occasion. Higher government officials, including the President of the country, Sahlawork Zewde, have also presented. Deputy Mayor of Finfinne City, Engineer Sakala Uma, said celebrating the Ethiopian Nations, Nationalities and Peoples Day when the country is in a deep reform has a special meaning and importance.
This year's celebration of Nations, Nationalities and Peoples Day is quite unique because this time for us is a time when we'll be reforming and restoring many structures of government in order to build a great Ethiopia. It is also a time when we should strengthen our unity and synergy.
Engineer Sakala added that there are still obstacles and challenges to stop the country from changes and reform.
To realize the reform started in the country, we need to strengthen our unity than ever. This is because there are still negative attitudes that attempt to hinder the freedom of our people. There are still attitudes of selfishness and ego-driven moves among some groups.
Engineer Sakala also thanked those who paid very expensive sacrifices to realize the freedom of Ethiopian people.
Above all, I would like to thank all of you who paid a lot to bring us this day, a day that all of us come together happily. You all remember what had been in our country before a few months, but today our country is being recognized at international level in many aspects. This wouldn't be realized without your sacrifices and commitment.
Ethiopia is the cradle of humanity and also a home of nations and nationalities, more than 80 nations and nationalities that have lived together for millennia with love and harmony. That's why this holiday, this celebration, more explains and expresses the quality of Ethiopians in living together. And it is for the 13th edition, of course, after the ratification of the Constitution of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed has inaugurated a medical center at Jimma University. President Omar al-Bashir of Sudan and President Ismail Omar Guelleh of Djibouti joined him in inaugurating the center. The hospital provides a service to 15 million people with 1,600 staff members, 32 intensive care units, and 800 beds. And related development, the three leaders also attended graduation ceremony of students at the Jimma University. Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed on the occasion encouraged the new graduates to center their work on service and change. He further reminded them that Ethiopia will not be regressing and requires them to push for unity and become catalysts for transformation. The university graduated 1,700 students, including 331 health professionals. President of the Oromia Regional State, Lamma Magarsa, while officially inaugurating various development projects in Jimma Zone and Jimma Town, of course, has stressed the need to aggressively embark on transforming regional and national economies to bring about holistic change in Ethiopia. Sorry, Chuck Abanecha has the details.
Ethiopia, the fastest growing African country, has been registering a tremendous success in economy. In this regard, the country has constructed and inaugurated 4 industrial parks such as Bole Lemmi No. 1, Hawassa, Kombolcha and Adama industrial parks previously. The country has also inaugurated the 5th industrial park, where Ethiopian Prime Minister, President of the Republic of Sudan and Djibouti have attended the event. Chief Executive Officer of Ethiopian Industrial Park Development, Lelise Neme, said that Jimma Industrial Park has developed over 150 hectares of land. This Jimma Industrial Park, which has been inaugurated today, is developed on 150 hectares of land, whereas its first phase was constructed on 75 hectares of land, and its construction cost was $70.6 million, she said. Lelise stated that Jimma Industrial Park main production would be on garment and agro-processing, and as this park is listed among the world eco-industrial parks of the world, it makes the parks highly demanded in export market. Lelise explained that the company called Arvind, which was previously engaged on garment production at Bole Lemmi No. 1 and Hawassa Industrial Park, would start production very soon in 4 sheds of the parks. President of Oromia Regional Government, Lamma Magarsa, for his part, said that inaugurating such great developmental projects has many meaning for those trying to disturb our country's peace and aborting the country-wide reform.
As it was known, the time you are in is when we are struggling with thieves, conflict creators, and those old-minded who are grouped to disturb our country's peace. So it has many meanings for us. We are showing them how much we are working in coordination to develop our country and our commitment to realize the historical journey to build the great Ethiopia.
You have been watching OBN coming to live from Adama, Oromia, Ethiopia. Thanks for watching. Have a good time. Bye-bye.